Hello, everyone, and welcome to the fourth coolest place on Earth podcast. I'm your host, Mister, with my illustrious co-host, CA.
Illustrious, eh?
Illustrious. It felt like the word.
It's working for you today.
It's working for me today.
I understand.
Thank you for joining us for a very special edition of the podcast here.
We are having our first guest today. I'm sorry, I couldn't hold it in.
We are having our first guest.
I'm so excited.
It's going to be Janine Aquafredda. Aquafredda?
No. This is Ms. Janine Aquafredda. She is the Republican candidate for Brooklyn Borough President. The election happens this coming November, obviously, like they all do. And we're excited to have her.
So, yeah, I'm going to begin.
Please.
I'm going to go off the cuff here because I like to...
Because I have a slang question already.
You have a slang question?
I have a slang question of the week.
I want to get creature feature out of the way super early.
Go!
And here's why. This to me is fascinating. So, if you don't remember, the premise of creature feature is essentially I find a weird-ass animal that's being kept as a pet by potentially a weird-ass couple or individual.
I would imagine it's a guarantee by what you're describing.
It is a guarantee, and today we have... And I'm looking at the timing of this article now that I have it up, and I'm, like, confused. A Texas couple who shares their home with an 8-stone capybara named Gary, and even let him sleep in their bed.
You know, I have to Google
Have you seen what a capybara is?
No, I'm going to take care of that right now, and I'm going to take
C-A-P-Y.
No. I got it already. Listen, I could spell.
The largest rodent in the world.
Holy shit, it is a giant rat.
It's a giant rat. It's a coconut hamster.
Okay, so listen, we're going to start with, you began in Texas.
It all began in Texas,
It all began in Texas. And no offense to my southern friends. I have a lot of southern friends. Hey, my favorite biscuit recipe comes from Megan, who comes from Texas. But I'm going to say that, there's certain places in our beautiful nation where you kind of expect weird shit to happen.
You do.
I don't know that Texas is on the top of the list. Who's the top of the list? Weird shit's gonna happen there. I'll give you one guess, mister.
Mississippi.
Florida.
I knew it.
Florida,
man.
Florida. I'm sorry, Florida, but holy Jesus Lord.
Alligators, crocodile. It's alligators. Florida Gators. Yeah.
Yes.
Polo shirts and Florida Gators.
I've driven through Alligator Alley in the middle of the night, which, by the way, is fucking hot as hell. And I was with Janine. I don't know if she wants me to tell you this story. We'll ask her before we start chatting. Because Janine and I have known each other for like 30 plus years. But we won't talk about that yet. We'll see if she even wants to. But yes, I've driven down Alligator Alley. It's a frightening place. So they own a giant rat in Texas. And what was his weight? I'm sorry?
8 stones?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you said stone. Which is a British unit of measurement. And I'm just wondering why we're going with that. Because now I know why. Because I bet you 8 stone is like the equivalent of like 8,000 pounds, and somebody's like, an 8,000 pound rat, oh my god!
It's actually just over 100 pounds.
Right, so
it's
either way,
112 pounds.
But that sort of proves my point. So I'm going to say 8 stone, because if I tell you I have a 100-pound rat, you are never going to speak to me again.
It weighs about as much as a high school female with an eating disorder and daddy issues.
Wow, I'm none of those things, but I'm tiny, man. I'm like 100 pounds, and I'm healthy.
Fired.
That's fired.
Anyways.
Oh, him, you.
So they named him Gary, which I think is just a beautiful name.
Gary.
Capybaras recently, I'm not sure if you're familiar with this, but now people are obsessed with capybaras.
Is this like the sloth thing?
Yes,
okay,
it is like a sloth movement. They're known for their very gentle, almost aloof and non-present disposition. Where
Sounds like my hound.
Yeah, well, speaking of your hound, Mudge can climb on top of a capybara, and the capybara won't even react.
Wow.
Like, that's how chill they are. And they're very gentle, very quiet, kind of goofy.
Right.
It's funny. I went to Roosevelt Field Mall with my girlfriend a couple weeks ago to
buy a capybara?
Plush store to buy...
there was a whole display.
I got her a plush sandwich. There was a whole display of
an actual sandwich? A plush
No. It was a plush that you could squeeze.
Okay.
Shaped in like a sandwich. A smiling sandwich, though. It was very cute.
That's adorable.
She got me a plague doctor. It was adorbs. But there was a whole display of capybaras. And I was like, this shit is actually sweeping the nation.
Sweeping the nation. Capybaras.
Melanie Topaldos from Texas. I think that's probably Greek.
Hi, Melanie.
57. And her husband, Richard Loveman, 54. Ooh, cougar, nice. Share their home in Buda, Texas with a giant capybara named Gary. I just want to clarify that Gary's actually average size for capybara, 112. Melanie adopted Gary after falling in love with the semi-aquatic mammals. That's right, they swim. The world's largest rodent during a holiday in Venezuela.
Oh my god. Do they live near water, these people?
They live in Texas.
Yes, the Gulf of Mexico borders.
They probably live near swamp water, no?
Okay, so then they've taken this animal out of its natural habitat, and it's still okay?
Seems it.
Oh my god, it's in a
doggy
dog bed.
It's sniffing on a cat.
Mudge has that same bed. Look.
They have the same dog bed.
Oh my god.
CA's dog has the same bed as this capybara named Gary.
My dog's bed is famous.
The 57-year-old even claims to have taught Gary to perform tricks. He learns tricks very quickly, faster than your typical dog would. He knows how to shake, how to turn in a circle. I can't even get my dog to turn in a circle. How to stand up on its hind legs and how to jump up on things on command. Are you training it to kill?
I really have a problem with this.
This is interesting.
So listen, I'm a dog lover, obviously, but I'm also one of these people that is like I'm semi into like the natural order of life. It's making love to a cat in that photo. That's a sincere hug too. Like their eyes are closed, like they're loving it.
Look at this.
Wow.
Flopsy the cat.
But listen, I don't like to. I understand people have birds, right? I feel bad when I see birds in cages. Like it doesn't make sense to me. Like dogs are domesticated. Like if you put Mudge out in the street, I'm sorry, universe, for even suggesting such a thing, but this dog would be dead in a couple days.
Oh, for sure.
Like he cannot take care. Cats,
survival
they're fine.
Instinct is not high.
It's
on
not.
Domesticated
It
dogs.
really isn't. So I kind of feel, even though this capybara looks particularly happy and comfortable in these photos, which is so weird.
This is the exact
Oh my god!
image of the couple that I expected.
People, please Google right now capybara and Melanie and
Richard
in Texas.
Capybara,
Where in Texas?
Texas.
It's gonna be a town any second. Capybara, Texas.
Buda or Buddha? I'm so sorry.
Spell what is
Buda.
Buddha.
Okay.
I
yeah,
want it to
sounds
be
like
Buddha, Texas.
Buda, Texas.
Right.
I'm going
It's
down
one
to
of those.
Buda, Texas to see my pal Gary. He's really very smart and he's very affectionate.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's just interesting. And by the way, so I found this article and it kind of inspired the whole segment of Creature Feature because I too love capybaras. I love watching videos.
This is
of
the
them.
article that inspired the thing for you.
To a degree.
Okay.
To a degree. I saw a couple of articles and I was like, oh yeah, this is a thing. This is a gold mine right here.
We're definitely gonna chat about that.
Yeah, this is gonna be like a regular thing. And then so I'm thinking, oh wow, okay, capybaras, yeah, makes sense. Like they're blowing up right now, obviously. 2013.
What do you mean? That's when this article.
Yeah.
How did we miss this?
These people beat the trend by like 10 years.
Gary.
2013. What were you doing in 2013?
Oh my God.
12 years ago.
Raising my child.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
How old was he?
My child is 16 going on 17.
Yeah, he was 3.
He was 3 years
Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
So I was definitely not worried about a capybara.
No.
3. He
Didn't
was
even know what
5.
they-
He was born in 08.
Was he?
Yeah,
I
that was
can't
very
do
bad
math.
math.
I can't do math. It's okay.
We have phones and calculators, all kinds of things, but why bother with
my
that?
brain's on autopilot sometimes. You
It's
know
fine.
this. It's fucking 2013. These people
Yeah.
have the largest rodent that I feel like. I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm ignorant, but I feel like capybaras weren't like mainstream knowledge.
I don't think
at
I've
this
ever
point.
heard of it. Definitely ahead of the curve. Good for them.
Well, best wishes to Melanie and Richard and Gary.
I keep wanting to call the guy
I don't
Gary.
know what the lifespan is on a capybara, but
Pretty long so far.
you know, if Gary's still with us, Gary, please consider calling into the show.
We have no phone number, but you give that a shot.
And yeah. Send us an email, Gary.
Yeah.
You don't have thumbs, it's okay.
Looks a little like an otter. Well, an
It
otter's
does
a
look like
rodent.
an otter,
That's
yeah.
a rodent
It's a
tail.
semi-aquatic mammal.
Yeah. Thanks for stopping by, Gary.
Thanks for stopping by, Gary.
Wait, can we get to my slang question now?
Let's do it.
My slang
Let's
question of the
segue.
week. So, as we just mentioned, my son is 16 going on 17. He's not... he's a fantastic kid, by the way. Great in school. Blah, blah, blah. Very mature.
I like it. Fantastic.
But physically, he's still on the boyish side. You know, he's tall, but he's still scrawny. So certain things come out of his mouth, and it just seems like a little bit. There's a disconnect for me because he still looks like a boy, even though he is taller than me. I am the size of an elf, folks. So
that is very offensive to elves.
Yeah, they might have a couple inches on me. If we're talking like Legolas. All right, anyway.
The first time I met you, I thought you were a garden gnome.
You're such a dick. My puppy was bigger than me. No, so here's the slang question. He's going to a birthday party last Saturday. And this is New York City in mid-July.
Yeah, it's very hot.
It's effing
very
hot as hell. And he comes out of his room in his high tops, pants, and a flannel, and a white Cuban hat perched on the top of his head.
White Cuban hat?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, like a Ricky Ricardo style hat. Whom he knows, by the way. I raised my son on classic television. He loves Lucy. As do I. So I obviously look at this child because, again, he still looks like a boy, so I have a hard time sometimes not being like, you can't wear that because you're going to melt if you go outside wearing those clothes. He goes, no, I have to wear it. And I go, why do you need to be wearing a flannel shirt when it's 85 and humid outside? And he says, because it goes with the fit.
It goes with the fit.
He goes with the fit. And I said, I'm sorry, it goes with the what? He says it goes with the fit. And I go, all right, please. And because he knows what that means when I just go, what? And he goes, outfit. And I go, that extra syllable was too much? Outfit was too much. And I said, okay, I guess so. And then he says, well, the car's air conditioned. You're taking me, right? Yes, I am. Well, the place is air conditioned. Okay. And what am I going to do? He's 16. I'm not going to take the shirt off the kid. But he went out of this house with his Cuban hat, his flannel shirt, and his long gray pants. In 85 degrees.
This was a high value party.
I guess. Well, I did say that. I go, I've never seen you worry too much about what you were wearing at other birthday parties you went except for your own.
Yeah.
Which is in November. And when you can dress just like yours.
You
hey,
dress pretty much however you
fun
want
fact,
to.
My son and Mr. share a birthday.
We do have the same birthday. That's
so true. It's in the late fall, or mid-fall, I guess. Late to mid-fall. And you can really do a lot in those clothes.
You can.
Summer, for me, I hate the heat, man. I absolutely hate it. Anytime I can just put a single garment over my body, that's all I'm doing.
Summer's rough for me because I am typically someone who likes wearing shirts with collars and buttons.
Yes.
It just makes me feel clean.
As we've talked about before.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, actually, for you. But when we first met, this was not something that was really on your radar too much.
No.
I'm not even sure. I don't know how much you cared back then, but I do know that I watched you go through a transition from being like this, I'm not going to say sloppy, but definitely...
No, definitely laid back.
Uber casual type of situation to... Let me put this together here and it's cool.
I did not put a lot of effort into my appearance probably around the time we first met. Yeah,
definitely.
It's true.
You were going through a breakup.
I was going through a breakup.
Yeah.
It was a mental thing for me. And then I think I was probably at the feeling stage, and then I became a little bit more proactive and taking care of myself and healing properly, and that's when I lost the weight and I started dyeing the hair. For those, my hair is dyed.
Little reinvention, a little self-reinvention.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that.
It's one of those things where it's
you give up a little bit, you stop caring a little bit, and then when it's over and you're out of it, you go, let's be me again.
The best thing about these situations is that with depression or intense sadness is that 100% for me at least. I'm only speaking on my own behalf here. It's temporary.
Right.
And eventually, the bounce back just feels so fucking good.
Yes.
And it really puts in perspective that, you need your highs and you need your lows to sort of balance each other out.
Absolutely.
Because if everything's really awesome all the time.
Can I I want to piggyback on that and just remind everyone, in case you weren't sure. Not only are the bad times temporary, absolutely. Every single thing is temporary.
Yes.
One could see this as a sad thing. I do not. Everything being temporary means that everything is in constant changing motion. Things can be good and sustained, things can be bad and sustained. But because they are in constant changing motion, there is constantly potential for turning things around. Constantly. Because everything is temporary.
Yep.
I've actually used that with new mothers, right? So my kid's a teenager, but I know a lot of new mothers with babies, and when I see them coming down the street with that stroller, I know that look. This, oh my word, this is even a lazy half bun in a scrunchy situation, sweats from top to bottom. You look like you haven't slept in 3 weeks, but you still got to walk this baby in the stroller because he or she is crying, whatever. I know this look. If there are mothers out there listening to this right now, your situation is temporary. It is not going to go on like this forever. Anybody out there experiencing a low, it's temporary because life is an ocean. Those waves are going to keep coming.
Yeah.
You're going to surf them or you're going to drown.
For sure.
Please surf them.
Yeah, surf.
It's more fun because the next wave is coming and it might be a really cool one.
It might.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can surf downwards or upwards.
Correct.
You know? And a lot of people, like I'm again, that's from my personal experience, experiencing these lows. I sort of realized there was and a lot of things that I did to myself or for myself that did me absolutely no favors.
No favors.
Stuck in a cycle where every day
Yeah.
ran into another day, and it was hard to differentiate Tuesday from Wednesday because I'm drinking a bottle of wine both days, you know what I
Right,
mean? And,
right.
and look, I'm not going to make the claim that I was like a reformed alcoholic or anything, but this is an example of a behavior that I think is used to sort of like mask your feelings and not really sit with yourself. Point
Not
being,
social drinking in general.
No, social drinking.
No
is-
worries there.
I mean, hey.
But self-medicate. But, again, don't kick yourself.
No.
If you need a minute. I think that's also a thing. People start, you fall into a cycle when you start to feel worse about your situation because you feel bad.
Yeah.
Right? Why can't I feel better? And that just sort of compounds the negative shit you're
Right.
already feeling, right?
No.
Don't kick yourself for feeling bad.
Just let yourself feel
Exactly.
it.
That's how we're processing. It's how we're dealing. You allow yourself to feel the crap and let it out. And then, at some point you're going to pull yourself out.
Yeah,
I hope.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
How did we get so deep so fast?
We just got super.
We went
into
from
it.
capybaras to it's okay to drink
When
a little
I
bit
think of
as long as you stop.
When I think of semi-aquatic rodents, I usually get really emotional. About
Right,
it,
right,
you know?
right. Don't we
So it
all?
kinda- yeah. So
It's
it
a
kinda-
trigger.
Yeah.
Oh
Gary,
my.
man, I'm fucking telling you,
Yeah,
Gary.
Gary.
dude.
It's all about Gary today.
Lost in the sauce. It's all about Gary, man. Another thing that contributes to I think people going through these sort of, we were talking about breakups, whatever.
Yep.
Dating is really hard.
Dating
is difficult.
I have no idea what that's like. I have no idea what dating looks like in this world. I have never swiped anything. And I'll be honest, I really don't give a shit at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm cool by myself.
Well, I think that's the most important. I think that's the most important thing is to sort of make sure that like you're cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And that's a mistake that I see a lot of people make is they go through a breakup, and hell, I did it. But I think the most important thing is to learn how to be fucking by yourself.
Oh my
dude.
God, yes, please.
You can fix so many things from
Yes.
within, just sitting with yourself and sort of like, oh, okay, this is what I need to do or whatever. Instead of like jumping into rebounds, which I think is unfortunate. And I think dating right now is like, I don't know, I haven't dated like in 3 years.
Almost
4
3 years.
Yeah, because I've been in a committed relationship since then. But I mean, we go on dates.
But yes, you have to be happy with yourself.
You do.
100%.
I went on a date, and it was one of my very first dates when I was like newly single. The girl laughed at like a lot of my jokes,
Oh, that's good.
which is always a plus,
Right.
because fragile ego. But
Oh, a boy with a fragile ego? I've never heard of such
say
a
it
thing.
isn't so.
Right. Some things are, transcend generations, I guess.
And her facial expression when she laughed remained the same.
What does
So,
that mean?
Normally when people laugh, they smile with their eyes, or they squint their eyes, or like when you laugh, you're like, you
There's a
don't just like
crinkle.
stare at the person when you're laughing, like ha ha ha, which is very creepy.
That's
and
like serial killer
you
stuff.
don't realize it until someone does it to you, how unsettling it is. Especially when this is 2 to 3 minutes after she tells me about her bow and arrow collection.
Oh my.
Which I think is kind of interesting.
Oh,
I'm
so
not
she's
gonna
a
lie.
Hunger Games
But
fan.
then when she tells me she's like, sniping squirrels and raccoons, then I'm like,
Stop.
oh, this is weird again.
Stop.
Yeah.
That's worse than the pyro you dated.
Yeah, oh, the pyromaniac who wanted me to, who set things on fire in her
Yep,
yard.
yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
You're like nearly escaping with your life.
Twice.
Yeah, twice
now.
at least.
And that's only the ones I remember offhand.
And women think they're in danger when they date.
It's
I guess
very- they watch too much You.
I am going to
That's the
say,
problem.
I actually think younger women, millennial women, Gen Z women, are ahead of my generation. My generation of women earned their sass, right? There was still plenty of sexism, and there still is now. But I remember
I thought we were making the argument that it wasn't around anymore.
Oh, no. There's still sexism now, but it was like when I was growing up, I still heard things like I expressed an interest in cooking or being a chef. I was like very little. And
that hasn't changed.
some man in my... No, that's true. I still cook. But there was
no, you're still little.
No, that is also true. I'm only slightly bigger than I was then. But there was some man in my family, I can't remember who it was, that actually said, no. The best chefs in the world are men. And he was saying it to me not as a challenge, but as a total blockade. Like that's not something you can do.
Move
and
the
then
goalposts
and then he
real
like
quick.
shooed me off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was still a thing when I was growing up. But it's not so. Really. There's still sexism again. Women are still being objectified. There's still the whole sex thing in general in terms of women is still somewhat an issue. But the pendulum's got to swing all the way one way. So like zero tolerance at the moment, and then maybe 10 years from now you guys can go back to making jokes and shit. But beside the point, millennial and Gen Z women seem to have less of this coding that prior generations were raised with.
Sure.
Like I was at least told how I was supposed to act.
You were.
I didn't listen to it. And most of my female cohorts and peers did not listen to it. But we might behave differently in front of grown-ups, more like little ladies, than we did on the schoolyard. There was still that attempt at a veneer. I think our guest has arrived. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to our wonderful little program, the fourth coolest place on earth, Miss Janine Aquafredda. Republican candidate for Brooklyn Borough President.
And conservative.
Republican and conservative parties.
Endorsed.
Oh, yes, by both.
Yes.
Fantastic. So, listen, Brooklyn Borough President, I know that's a little off, we're in Queens, but Ridgewood happens to straddle both boroughs. So I feel like that gives us some authority to chat with this lovely lady. But I would like to start with a story, if that's okay.
Of course.
Before I launch into questions. Because Janine and I have known each other for 30 plus years. She has made herself one of the most successful real estate agents in the area.
Aww.
Yes. She has survived a million things throughout her life, including a terrible divorce, in which she wound up becoming on top of that situation, even though when she started it, she was on the bottom. No wisecracks with that kind of thing. I know I left it wide open. But to my Brooklyn listeners, here's a story about Janine that happens when she is, I think, maybe 16.
Oh my.
And I am 17. And at the time, I am an aspiring singer. Janine had dabbled in that a little bit. But at this point, I think you were also a gymnast.
I was.
A very good gymnast.
I was.
But Janine had decided that she believed in my talent. And she was going to be my manager at 16. And what this meant back then, right? There was no YouTube. There was no TikTok. You couldn't just put your music on the internet. You guys have it so good. Back then, you had to make 100 copies of your demo.
Yeah.
And you had to mail them places or walk them places and knock on doors and call people. You had to footwork.
Yeah.
Well, Miss Janine decided that she was going to take one of the biggest producers of the late 80s, early 90s, George Tobin, who was based in LA. Based in LA, and here we are.
That was Tiffany's?
Yes, Tiffany's manager.
Yeah.
And she cold this man's office.
I did.
Who at the time was working with a little group called Belle Biv DeVoe that nobody had ever heard of before. We hadn't even heard of them.
Well, I thought he would love her because, CA also has red hair, and I thought Tiffany, and I thought this is Tiffany 2.0. So
It's the look, blah, blah.
Yes.
So even at 16 years old, she's got this vision for me and my career. Not only does she cold call the balls to cold call this man. Ladies and gentlemen, she gets me a fucking meeting. What in the what? Obviously, I'm very excited, but here I am 3,000 miles away from where this office is, and now I got to figure out how the hell am I... Thanks, Janine. How am I getting there now?
She's your agent.
I talk my
was her manager.
mother into buying me a ticket to Los Angeles, round trip, and she does it because my mother's the sweetest woman in
Your
the world.
mother would do anything for you.
Jesus,
That I remember.
who, by the way, says congratulations on everything and wishes you the best of luck. if you were wondering what kind of a person Janine is, I think that story is indicative of her drive, her ambition, her energy, and the way she will just, as we said before on air, will knock down walls. If not just to see what's on the other side, but to get something done because that wall is in her way.
Well, you were so impressive. You had the most amazing voice. You were such an amazing dancer. I really thought you were like the redheaded Mariah Carey. And I
wasn't, by the way, P.S., folks.
No, you were.
That's why you never heard of me.
I literally remember you singing. Remember I used to ask you to sing to me?
Yes.
When we would do sleepovers, and I refused. We would break night, we called it, and we refused to go to bed. And I would ask her to just keep singing for me. And it was amazing. And I do not like wasted talent. When I see somebody with talent, I will put my own life on hold, and I will say, you. And I wish I had that same kind of vision for myself sometimes, because I see it so clearly with other people.
Well, don't you have that now? Because look what you're doing.
No, I see the vision for Brooklyn. Not for me as borough president,
Wow.
but I see the vision for Brooklyn.
Can I just point out, ladies and gentlemen, what politics is supposed to be, right? Politics, first of all, the meaning of it is really negotiation and working together and to accomplish things for a large community, a society.
For the people.
Correct. So the word politician is not a real thing, right? Government is supposed to be service.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be your career.
Right.
And so Janine's important to me because she's one of the few people out there that is pausing her actual career, the thing that she makes actual money with, to serve the place she lives and works. You don't plan on carrying on. Well, listen, hey, if you do an amazing job and somebody says, please do this, maybe you will.
Maybe I will.
But the short-term vision is for Brooklyn, not for you.
Of course.
You're going to continue your work as a real estate broker while you're running for president, and you will probably continue after whether you win, lose, serve, or not.
Well, if I win...
Obviously, you'll serve.
Yeah, I have to serve the people. You know, if I don't win, I don't know what's going to happen. I've seen so much. You know, I started this race a few months ago, and I've already seen and learned and heard so much that I don't know that I could not continue. Which kind of makes me sad, because I do love real estate. I love what I do.
Right. No, but if you can serve a greater purpose...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like...
And you were just appointed to the real estate board. Can you be more specific about that organization, what it's called?
Yeah, so that's the Brooklyn Board of Realtors, and I'm in charge, well, I'm a co-chair of events and planning, but I sit on a lot of different boards, actually, and I have sat on a lot of different boards. So you know, being in positions like that is not new to me. It's nothing like what I'm about to embark on.
True, but it's a taste of. You still need to negotiate with people. You still need to talk to people of different opinions, different views.
Well, that's why I think I am such a good person for this role. It's like, and politics, you know, has gotten so disgusting and so divisive.
Absolutely.
And it's like everybody's always fighting each other and fighting for this and fighting for that. And in fact, when I started this race, I told my team, I said, do not use the word fight. Because you know, sometimes they post on my social media and they do things on my behalf. I said, don't ever use the word fight. If you feel the urge to put the word fight, put the word work. Because fighting implies a winner and a loser. And I want all of Brooklyn to win.
Correct.
I don't want there to be a loser. So they're struggling with that a little bit. I do see fight pop up and I said, no. No fighting, working. So...
Well, there is this, you kind of sometimes have to match energy, right? But I'm not seeing very much anti-Janine stuff going on right now. So I would imagine...
Oh, there's some.
Yes. Actually, so this brings me to what you just said, all the boards you sit on.
Yes.
One of my first questions is, without government experience, how do you plan to navigate the legislation process?
I do have government experience. As a real estate broker, I've had to navigate HPD, DOB. I mean, I am...
Tell the listeners at least one of those, what they stand for.
Department of Buildings.
Okay, it's a city
Housing
organization.
Preservation and Development. Yeah, so I've had to work with these agencies on behalf of my clients, also on behalf of myself with my licenses. So I know how to navigate city agencies and government, and it's horrible.
Yeah.
and I don't wish it on anybody. And this is one of the things that I'm looking forward to giving my ideas on. The Brooklyn Borough President position is not a legislative position. It's much more of a ceremonial. We do have to work with city agencies. We do have to work with the mayor. but I'm more of a vision person, which I really am in real life, than a legislator. I'm looking forward to bringing ideas, different ways of thinking, like a more business mindset, as opposed to a politician mindset.
Yes.
Because these politicians, most of them are career politicians, and they don't know real life.
Yeah.
They don't know the real world.
The cost of
things. They
things.
don't know how to navigate city agencies and government if they're not inside of it.
Right.
And that's not good for our user experience, right? So I think it's me not being a politician is actually a strength, not
Absolutely.
a weakness.
In my opinion, it is.
Yeah.
I won't talk about. We try to avoid politics in general. We want this
me
to
too.
be a fun show.
It's very uncomfortable.
Yeah, right.
It's very icky. That's the word I use for it. I actually, it's so funny because I said to myself, why am I doing this? I'm so not political.
Yeah.
But then my Facebook memories come up, and I
didn't I say it to you?
Yeah, like
I
I'm
said
very
it to you.
political.
She doesn't remember. I actually sent her a messenger message probably like 5-6 years ago. There was something. Who knows what the trend was? People were arguing about, and she kept jumping in.
Yeah.
And I sent her a message. I go, have you ever thought about doing this?
It's crazy.
Council person, whatever, assembly person, and the answer was no.
No.
And here you are.
And here I am.
Because you're geared for it.
Oh, geez.
You don't want to be, but you will be.
Well, it's the idea of service rather than...
Exactly. Okay, let me ask you this now.
Yes, ma'am.
And this is why I got to the whole, because there is legislation involved in your job regardless. Like, legislation will affect what you can and cannot do.
Absolutely.
Laws and bills that are passed.
Absolutely.
So, next question is, with big federal budget cuts on the horizon, New York City will be one of the hardest hit areas in terms of social services.
It will, because we have so many social services.
That's exactly right. How do you plan on protecting Brooklynites that rely heavily on these services and benefits such as SNAP and Medicaid?
Grateful that we have these services, upset that they've been abused, upset that we've relied on them so heavily and haven't prepared people. It's almost like, if you're a child and you get allowance your whole life, and then, daddy cuts you off, and it's like, oh, what do I do
now? Yeah.
I'm so mad that we're in this position.
That's like that, right?
Yeah. And so I was actually at a senior center yesterday speaking with, I was at a nonprofit, and they are funded by the New York State Department of Aging. And she was telling me this is what it's going to look like.
After this funding is cut.
And I was like, immediately in business mode. Like, listen, I'm a business person. I'm a solopreneur for the most part. Like, I started my business with nothing. Sometimes I have to do everything on my own. No money, a little money. Sometimes I have a lot of money. Like, I know how to do this.
Right.
We are going to rely heavily on the community.
Okay.
And on the nonprofits. And on the private sector, and this is where I'm good at bringing all
for the
these
private
people
sector
together.
to be charitable.
Absolutely.
Right.
What other choice do we have? And I actually think that this could be such an amazing opportunity to make Brooklyn feel like community again, because it doesn't. It's every man for himself.
Right.
It's very transient.
Right.
It doesn't feel like home, even for somebody like me who's been there forever.
Yeah.
So it's going to be hard. We're going to have to, and by the way, nobody should stop fighting for this funding.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
Somebody like me with no legislative power, the city council, the mayor.
So you disagree with these massive cuts that are coming down?
I am not going to say I disagree because I haven't read enough about it.
That's fair.
I'm sure I don't disagree with all of it.
Right.
But I'm sure I disagree with a lot of it, especially when it comes to our seniors.
Folks, please make note again. There's an allowance in that statement for someone to have a differing opinion that Janine may eventually think, okay, that makes sense. Something that is very much missing from most of the people that run for office today.
Well, here's the problem, especially in New York City. Ideology seems to be more important than practical solutions.
Yes.
And I am, as you know, you've known me for over 30 years, I am an empath.
Yeah.
To a fault, and
it's poisonous sometimes.
It's poisonous, and I don't want to see anybody suffering or any animal suffering. I don't. I also live in reality. Life is not fair. People are gonna hurt. People are gonna struggle, especially in New York City, the most expensive city in the United States. One of the top 5 most expensive cities in the world.
Yes.
Like they if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. I mean,
Right.
it's a grind, it's a hustle. It always has been, and by the way, it always will be.
Oh yes.
So all these promises.
It's our essence.
Yeah.
I don't want it to go away.
It's our DNA.
Correct.
We have to accept, if we're going to stay here and live here, we have to expect a certain level of that. But things could be better.
Sure.
I definitely believe things could be better, but it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt, and it's going to hurt partly because we've abused
The
a
system,
lot. We've
yeah.
abused the system. We've taken it for granted. We haven't put forward good policies. We've had these, do-gooder intentions, right? But there are unintended consequences to these things that we want to do for certain groups of people. And it's so interesting because I speak to people that, in New York City, which is very progressive, the city council is extremely progressive, and they want to do these things for the Black and brown communities. Now,
You're brown.
I am brown.
Yeah.
And whenever I hear them speaking about these things, I'm like, hey, but that's not what I want. Like, why are you speaking for me? This is not what I want. And when I speak in these brown and Black communities, they're like, that's not what we want either.
Right. Right.
And so I understand you want to level the playing field and make sure that we have opportunity, but we do. And there are things in the past that were so wrong,
Can you give me a specific example of a
Yes.
policy that you felt was bad that you think should be changed?
Well, housing discrimination, right? I mean, I think it's horrible if you say to if you don't rent to somebody or don't sell to somebody because of their religion, their sexuality, their race, right? It's horrific.
Yeah.
It should never have taken place. It did. So we've passed, these
It
laws.
was big
and
in the
these
real
norms.
estate industry.
Huge.
Yeah.
And yes, on the one end you welcome it, and then you go to a neighborhood like Bed-Stuy, and the women are yelling at me, Janine, we don't care about anything else, but we are losing our home. We are being pushed out. What are you going to do about that? What are you going to do
Rising
about us?
rents, rising
Well,
cost, what?
just gentrification in general.
Gotcha.
And so this one person said, I'm just going to sell my house to a Black person. And I
Okay.
said, oh no, you cannot, because of fair housing. And I explained the fair housing laws, and they were like, well, that's messed up. I said, no, but that was put in place for us so that people couldn't discriminate against us to sell us a home or to rent us a home. So there are always two sides to everything.
Of course.
So you have to be very careful with passing laws and pushing policy, and it's a fine balance because you have to be very careful, but you also have to be swift and decisive.
It's all in the gray area.
It's not easy. I'm not saying the job is easy. I'm not saying any of these jobs in government are easy.
Or the fix is easy.
But I feel like it's too much of an ideology now. It really is. It's like, no, we're going to do this because I'm a this.
Right.
It's like, okay, so, you lean this way, so you're going to do that. Or you lean the other way, so you're going to do that.
It is the most narcissistic approach to government I've ever seen.
I think a lot of people in government are narcissists.
Absolutely. And to a degree, you kind of have to
and
be.
egomaniacs.
To have that sort of, I think, self-ambition to push yourself that way. But you're not producing good governors of anything or good legislators of anything because they are so preoccupied with what they are getting out of it.
Well, what they are getting out of it, what they are doing.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop there. What they are doing, not what they are doing for the people. What they are doing.
Period.
Right?
Yeah.
And votes. I mean, they just passed a law in June called the FAIR Act, and basically this council person,
F-A-R-E,
exactly, and this council person said, enough of the broker fee, it's making housing unaffordable, so from now on we're going to kill the broker fee. But the reality was he wasn't killing the broker fee. What he was doing was he was changing the law so that whoever hires the broker pays the broker, which most of the time it is the landlord, right? The landlord says, hey, list my apartment.
Right.
But a lot of these landlords, I would say most of these landlords are just small mom and pop landlords, right? Like you.
We can't afford it.
Right, you can't afford to pay the fee.
Right.
So what do you think happened? They negotiate with their
tenants,
real estate broker. No, their real estate broker say, listen, well, I can't afford to pay you, and so why don't you just put it in the rent, and then I'll pay you little by little the broker fee. And that's exactly what happened. Overnight, rents in Brooklyn went up 15%.
Wow.
3,000 listings came off. Oh, I'm sorry. I think 2,000 listings came off the market, and the inventory dropped by 30%.
Oh my gosh!
While landlords figured out what they were going to do because they could not afford.
Huge.
Right? Terrible. But this particular council person made a name for himself just off of this bill,
which was misleading.
And it was a flat out lie. It's not going to make housing more affordable.
Yeah, it's the opposite.
If anything, it will make your upfront costs more affordable.
Yeah.
Right.
But
in the
long
term,
right?
right.
In the long term, it's going.
This is important for someone like Mr. too. Millennials are having one of the hardest times in the country right now.
Yeah, I'm so glad I'm
we
not
were talking
here.
about this before you arrived. That so many of them have moved back home because they're having trouble between student debt loans and the way the job market is.
Yeah.
Suddenly they're like, wait, I actually can't afford a rent.
Yeah.
So you'll have a 30-something-year-old guy with like 4 roommates.
Yeah.
This is not what we were promised when we were growing up, and we were able.
I don't even remember.
We're a pretty disenchanted generation, right?
are?
We were told that equality is here. What we met in life was not quite what they were selling. That the American dream was attainable by anyone at any time.
Right, I believed that. I believed
I
that even though I
absolutely
came
believed
from
it.
the dirt. I mean,
Correct. I
Literal
believed it
dirt.
too, but they left out a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
But now this generation,
Yeah, the
they can't
millennials.
even get out of mom and dad's house.
Yeah.
So this is an issue close to your heart, and certainly affects someone like Mr. who's living right here in a soon-to-be completely gentrified area.
Yeah, it's already gentrified, but it's gentrified in a good way. But it's about to flip.
Right. And what does that look like? Going from a good gentrification, which really explain gentrifying to our listeners as a real estate person.
Well, I mean, gentrification can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. It's just a change in the neighborhood, and it could actually be good or bad.
Sure.
It could be
Spike Lee hated it 20 years ago. I
Yeah,
remember.
because you definitely lose
It can be
your
both.
neighborhood. You lose your character. You lose your community.
Right.
Think about half of your neighbors suddenly moving out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I mean, what does that feel like? It doesn't feel like
Right.
home anymore.
Right.
And like, I got gentrified out of my last neighborhood. I just didn't feel welcome anymore.
Right.
I didn't feel like I belonged there anymore. I really didn't. And it was very uncomfortable for me. And so I moved myself out.
Right, there you
I
go.
self-deported out of my neighborhood. I really did. And it's uncomfortable. And it's unfortunate how I see this particular neighborhood going. It feels so good to be here. It really still feels like
We're still small town in a big city.
yeah, it's small town, big city. It still feels like Queens to me. Yeah, no, and it's quaint and it's quiet and it's
Yeah.
charming and it's got all
Right.
those things.
Suburban kind of feel. to it.
Almost.
But I will
Nice,
say we
yeah.
have far too many. I think Mr. can attest to this. Far too many storefronts, Myrtle Avenue.
Yeah.
Well, it's
It's just
one after the
for
other,
rent,
after the
for
other,
sale,
after the
for
other.
I
rent,
know.
for sale. There's literally nothing. If one more pharmacy goes up, like we have some rooted
what?
problems here.
This is a very targeted situation, but you know what I don't really understand? That fortune teller or tarot place. how
Oh,
they're
we've
still
got a
in
million of
business.
those.
But that one specific one next to the meat market.
Yes, you're right.
Louis Toy Room, open, close.
You're right.
4 million pharmacies, open, close.
Right.
Mom and Pop, E Sparks Coffee.
Right.
Heart broke when that place
Right.
closed. Gone.
Listen, I was
This fortune teller, though,
Yeah,
I've been in business
still
for 22
there.
years.
22 years.
As long as I've been alive.
I was talking to a local the other day, and they said to me, along Myrtle used to be bar, and now it's pharmacy. And I said, well, that's your generation aging.
Well, that's and
We
that's a
need
form
meds
of
now.
gentrification. That's
Right.
a form of gentrification.
Exactly.
Right?
A facade change, if you will, right? I'm trying to make it understandable to people. It's like a facelift for a neighborhood. Sometimes it looks great. You get the eye tuck just perfect. You got your jawline back. Other times it's Tammy Faye. Right?
Yeah.
You pulled it too taut. Things are just a little bit too rigid now, and now no one can be there.
I will tell you, I think it usually ends up like Tammy Faye.
Right. We go overboard.
Yeah.
But I think that's a human nature thing. We're like, this is going great. Let's do more of it.
Yeah, and I'm definitely more conservative. I'm definitely more of like a pilot person. Let's try this out. Let's see how
A
it
little
works.
at a time.
Yeah, because these are people's lives. I mean,
That's
for
right.
people to leave their home of 20, 30, 40 years, that's the
It's
instability
devastating.
it's devastating
Yeah.
on a lot of levels, right? Financial, mentally.
Of course.
Even your health, your doctors are all in one place.
That's right.
I'm not happy with the way I see things going. And, I do think it's going to get worse. I do.
Super.
That's
a happy note.
I'm being honest. I mean, we can slow it down, right? We can slow down the bleeding. And
Okay,
I
wait.
think
Let me
that'd
get
be helpful.
let me get one more serious one out.
Yeah, serious.
Federal education spending.
Yes.
Also is going to be slashed.
Yep.
I don't know the exact numbers, but many Brooklyn students benefit from the above services and may lose them.
Yep.
School funding was always tight in New York City, right? Especially when we were kids, right? Overcrowding was huge.
Oh my gosh.
I was using a textbook from 1962, and it was like 1978. Whatever. things were written on. It was terrible, but we're still in that place.
Yep.
And it will get harder.
Yeah.
What are your plans to compensate for those cuts that will likely affect every public school in Brooklyn and around the entire city? Sorry, that's a big one.
Obviously, yeah, it's a big one. It's a big problem because these kids are in trouble.
1.1 million students in New York City, ladies and gentlemen, in case you didn't know.
A lot. And the schools are a mess, an absolute mess in every which way. And these kids, I'll tell you, just with regards to what I'm seeing crime-wise in Brooklyn, it's kids. The majority of the crimes are being committed by children under the age of minors, young.
Yeah.
And so, what I would have wanted was to have more money for after school. I'm huge on after school programs, keeping kids off the street.
Keeping them busy.
But we're gonna, it's gonna stink. And again, this is not my jurisdiction, but I have a big voice in this role, and we're going to have to work with state legislators and say, hey, you got to get some money back here. You have to.
Got to figure it out.
You got to figure it out. If you can't do it on the federal level, we've got to do it on the state level. We're gonna have to make cuts in other places. Things are going to get cut. I don't know if it's going to be museums. I don't know if it's going to be sanitation. But the money's got to come from somewhere because it does not grow on trees, and we have treated it like it does.
Yeah.
And we've messed things up.
Yeah.
Not me, because I'm a politician only a few months, but
but
I'll say we. And again, we're going to have to rely on the nonprofits, the private sector, and really and the community, and really figure this out, because the cuts are going to happen. It's going to hurt.
Maybe local private universities can get involved with lower education.
There's actually a lot of this stuff going on in education because people don't want their kids in the public school system anymore because the public schools are failing. It is not about teaching children anymore.
Yeah.
And so there are some philanthropists and some educators and some community members that have come together and formed like almost charter schools, but very low
That's
cost.
promising. Versus the original charter schools from about a decade ago that were being run by Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Yep. So I'm hearing a lot of that happening already in New York City. So I'm going to explore that more. But the money has got to come from somewhere. So it's going to hurt, and it's going to come from other places throughout the city. The borough president also does have 2 budgets. And so we do play with tens of millions of dollars that can go towards filling those gaps in the schools, but it also has to fill the gaps for the elderly.
Other places,
right?
yeah.
They're losing health services. They're losing extended services. They're losing SNAP.
What are your 2 budgets? Explain
Capital
that.
and discretionary.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah. So the capital is like for literal capital improvements,
Yep.
building, housing, schools,
the
things
civilization
like
of it.
Yeah, and then the discretionary could be money that goes to nonprofits.
Right.
Unfortunately, it's going to affect every area of life in the city, in Brooklyn.
It's going to be painful.
It out. It's going to be painful, but it is going to require out-of-the-box thinking, creative thinking, and a business mindset to make things work without federal funding.
You actually have enormous balls because you're running against an incumbent. How many terms has Reynoso served?
So this would be his second. He's only served one term.
But regardless, everybody, if you know politics at all, it's hard to beat an incumbent.
And he's also a career politician. So
and a career politician.
He started out as an aide and then was city council for as long as he could be, and then slid into this seat.
Is he saying anything like this, that things are going to be painful?
I have no idea. Probably not.
So you're not doing too much listening to him? Which
he's
I don't
not
mind.
Doing too much talking.
Yeah, that's also true.
Mean,
well, he's feeling very comfortable at the moment.
Oh, I'm
There's
sure.
a complacency attached.
He actually declared himself the winner. He said, "I'm looking forward to serving the next 4 years." And I'm like, "Whoa,
right?
Slow down,
Listen,
buddy."
I want you to give him a run for his money, if nothing else.
Oh no, I mean, if anybody can do it, it's me. Right?
Listen, you're looking to meet a couple of goals here. You can feel free to tell the folks what you're trying to do, what your next benchmark is for your matching funds, for instance.
Oh my goodness. So that's the big one. So unlike the person I'm running against, who has been fundraising for years, I just started in the race in February, so I have not yet met matching funds. And if I'm really going to be in it, I need to meet those matching funds. So donations from New York City residents are key. I need to hit a certain amount.
Matching funds,
yes,
just to explain, means that Janine needs to show that she has enough support from the ground, meaning the people that live in the place she's running to represent. And once she reaches that certain goal, then the federal government or state government, which I forget which, doesn't matter.
City taxpayers.
There you go. City taxpayers, the government of that will match what she raises. Because now they consider her a viable candidate.
Correct. And it's for every $1 that I raised from New York City residents, they will give me $8 additional.
Amazing.
So if I raise $55,000, it's almost $500,000.
That's amazing.
And that's, obviously taxpayer dollars that I can use to really get my message out, get my name out, get my face out.
And how close are you?
Not close. Nope. And I'm not. I've raised about $25,000.
That's not too shabby considering you're nobody in this
they're
business.
They're not New York City dollars.
Oh.
Why?
Why?
Because I'm a realtor. And I have moved my family, my friends, my clients, and virtually everybody that I know out of here.
Wow.
So it's definitely a struggle. Also, people do not want to donate to a conservative or a Republican because they don't think they have a shot.
It's tough in New York City.
Yeah, so they're like, oh, good luck, Janine, but you're not going to win, and I'm not going to, I had people tell me they wouldn't sign my petitions. You have to get a certain number of signatures in order to get on the ballot.
Right.
Well,
Was
you're
it
not going to
10,000?
win. I had to get, no, I needed like 4,000, but I got like 9. I got a crazy amount.
Good.
But I had a lot of help in that area.
Still.
Yeah, and so, so people are just not backing me financially because they don't think I have a shot. And I know, it may seem far-fetched, but not only do I have a shot, I have a really good shot, but it has been a struggle. So I've got to make the matching funds. I'm doing fundraisers. I'm doing fundraising calls. But yeah, that's been the struggle.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to get there.
Yeah, I think
I have
so.
faith because you're you. You're going to get there.
Well, listen, I'm me, but I also have a time frame.
No, I got it. What's your deadline?
So if I don't meet matching funds by the end of August, I'm pretty much not going to make it.
Not going to bother.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to bother till the very end, but
Good.
There are certain deadlines also.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, let's end on a happier note.
Yeah.
A cause that's very near and dear to your heart.
Yes.
Miss Janine is a big dog lover,
I
big
am.
animal rights activist.
I am.
She is here recording with my 2 dogs running around. We have an amazing group of friends. But I know I can say that I've seen Janine actually pursue criminal charges against people that abuse animals.
Nice.
I have seen her drive over state lines to rescue them and bring them to a home that they're welcome in.
I've gone. I've flown to Puerto Rico too.
There you go.
Picked them up. I picked them up from
Huge stray problem in Puerto Rico.
Oh my gosh, it's so bad. But they're treated so well.
Right, by just
By the
regular people outside. Yeah, it's great.
Unlike here.
Unlike
Good
here,
to know, at least.
it is.
Well, but it's very hot. You don't want them on the street. But
So what do you want to do for Brooklyn to help the dogs of Brooklyn happier, make them happier?
Everything. If I could
Everything.
spend my entire budgets on them, I would. I probably shouldn't say that.
She's not going to do that.
I'm not.
No.
Because listen, if I don't help people who have pets, then the
Correct.
pets suffer. So I've got to help people and pets. But
Good way to look at it.
oh no, absolutely. I mean, listen, the ACC, the Animal Care and Control Center of New York, just put out like the most urgent message a few days ago. They are at full capacity.
Oh.
They cannot take any more animals in. Now, this is a kill shelter. Unfortunately, I know. But the only reason they can take in every animal is because they are a kill shelter. If they were a no-kill shelter, they would never be able to take in every animal that comes to their door.
Sure.
I have mixed feelings about that. However, at the moment, they cannot take in any more animals because so many animals are being surrendered. And why? 1 in 3 animals is surrendered because of housing instability.
Right.
Yep.
So
Right.
we must create a better housing environment. It is possible, and it is possible to do that without building.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
it is possible, and I am not happy about the city of Yes. In case anybody is wondering, we have lots of empty buildings, lots of empty apartments.
I have 3 empty apartments across the street from me.
Yeah,
Right
so
now.
So somebody owns that; they're just holding on
Correct.
to it so that
They're
when
just not renting them.
so when the market goes up, they can
I
flip the
guess so.
house, or are they scared to be landlords?
Not entirely sure.
Oh, well, interesting.
Yeah.
So I could talk to them, probably change their mind. But there are
She
tens,
can.
I can.
I know.
Tens of.
You can tell already, right?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you something. I have flipped buildings that were no pet policy into pet-friendly buildings.
Amazing.
Ooh.
Condos,
Ooh, go
yes.
talk to my husband's building because he cannot take this dog for a
That would
weekend
be,
ever.
Yeah, that's
Please.
like a huge issue right now.
I need a
for
break.
me,
In about
especially.
12,
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
in 2012, I think that's the year, I started Realtors for Rescues. And what it was it was me going around to different real estate offices and educating real estate agents on how to get landlords to say yes to pets.
Yeah.
And how to get co-op boards to say yes to pets. That's what it was. Very quickly, it morphed into people dropping dogs off at my office
Oh my God.
and cats.
Welcome to New York City, folks.
Yeah.
That's how we roll.
It became
Yeah.
That lady likes dogs. Let's give her mine.
It became overwhelming, and I had to like actually do PSAs like, "Hey, I sell real estate. I am not a rescue."
Oh my God.
Yeah, but it is very easy to get people to accept pets. Number one, a building with a dog is more secure
Yes.
than a building
100%.
with an alarm.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Pet owners stay longer in their units.
We do. Yep.
They take better care of their units, and they pay more for their units.
Yes.
There is no reason not to allow a pet. In fact, as you know, I operate vacation rentals.
Yes. Oh,
And-
yes.
yeah.
Beautiful Airbnbs,
And
folks.
I am one of the reasons. I would say the number one reason I did that was because I stayed at a vacation rental, which allowed me to take my 200-pound Mastiff,
Mr. Chester.
Mr. King Chester, and I was like, this is so cool that I can vacation with my boy, and I want to do this for other people. So that's how I got into the vacation rental business. All of my vacation rentals are pet friendly, but it is so easy to get people to say yes to pets. They should,
Yeah.
and they will if we just
Yeah. A little
nudge
nudge.
them a little. Exactly. So
Yeah.
I'll talk to Wesbin's. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Wesbin's landlord.
yeah. They
Landlord.
25-pound limit. I don't really need him to take the little one to get a break.
Oh, are you? Oh, they won't allow the pets in the building at all. Oh, silly. Okay, we'll talk to
It's
them.
absolutely ridiculous.
But
I never understood it.
No.
Like, is this just like
Because
the,
they think they do more damage, but I'm telling you, as
Because
a
of noise,
vacation,
I
no,
guess.
it's not noise, it's damage. A vacation home rental person, I will tell you, when there are kids in there, I
It's
have
worse.
the most
It's
damage.
worse.
It's worse.
Way
Have to
worse.
be.
Yeah.
Way worse.
Have to
The
be.
animals, I had cats tear apart my blinds once they got spooked. No
Well,
problem.
it's nerves for them, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
it's
kids,
ner-
it's not nerves.
Oh my
No,
god.
it's
just
lack of supervision.
lack
Yeah,
of
yeah.
lack of good parenting.
Parenting. Right.
Yeah.
So, but I will tell you, one of the things that I have my eye on is dog parks, because we have significantly more dogs in Brooklyn than we do in Manhattan, and Manhattan has 10 more dog parks than we do, and we have the space. It just has to be converted into a dog park. I mean, we have lots of public space for these dog parks.
Mr. can tell you I worked for 2 years with Partnership for Parks,
Yeah.
and I tried with Councilman Holden's office, and I actually got pressed down there to Mafera Park, or Farmers Oval, we called it, right?
Yeah.
Mafera Park, and there's this abandoned section of Mafera Park that's gated off that used to be a garden.
It's our de
And I
facto,
used to bring my
dog
son there when he was in the stroller. We would go
Yeah.
read, and there were beautiful bushes and flowers and a pathway, and then the city abandoned it.
Mm.
And so the local dog owners just screw it,
Screw
and they
it.
started letting their dogs play in there.
It's enclosed, why
exactly.
not?
But we cannot be an official dog park.
Why?
We have railings in the ground.
Oh,
There
it's
is no
hazardous.
fresh water source. Every dog and every pet owner has fallen on this. We really don't need a ton of money to make this a viable dog park. We need a surface, and there's running water in the playground next door, so we could even get away with that. But I want sanitation to give us a permanent garbage pail. We don't need much, but we raised our own money, and we gated up the front so that when other dogs were walking by, all the dogs in the park wouldn't go cuckoo. Got solar lights on the trees because you can't see at night. So, I mean, we did this as a group. I have about 100+ members on our little Facebook
That's
group.
amazing.
But I eventually had to abandon it because Holden was just I'm sorry, Councilman Holden. There's a reason you're not going to be serving anymore. But he was just he came. He saw the space. And he nodded until his head was falling off.
Well, he's an
and then
idea
nothing
guy.
happened.
He's a very big idea guy. The
Right.
idea of being an animal lover sounds appealing.
That's
to
exactly
him,
right.
but
It
in
might earn him
practice,
votes.
I don't see him executing that at
Correct.
all.
And then I also got out yelled by this woman who was just over the train tracks in Ridgewood and said that all of Mafera Park needed to be redone.
The whole thing.
And the dog park portion of it just
Portion.
fell to the bottom of all the things that Mafera needed. And I just knew that it was just going to be a 5-year wait. So I was looking
Minimum.
for a $500,000 project that maybe would have taken a year. And this woman's looking for a $5 million project that's going to take 5 years. And so in the end, we get nothing.
So
And
did
they're
they
in
ever
the
do
process
anything?
of
They've
some-
done nothing.
They've done
Nothing.
nothing. They've
No.
just, what did they do? They just knocked down the hockey rink and refilled it or something like
Something
that?
something with the field at the end. But
Yeah.
I don't even make it to that end because it's
I
mostly
mean, I've
people.
made it and I haven't seen a noticeable difference at all.
Right, right.
So-
So I don't think
Well, this
anything's
is-
happening with that. But anyway, it's just an example because it's Maria Herrera Park. on
Hernandez?
Maria Hernandez on Felix Avenue,
Yeah.
which is about a mile that way from here, that way, and then the other is Forest Park, which is about another mile that way.
The parking
When
lot.
we literally have thousands of dogs between there,
Yep.
and Mafair is just more convenient.
That's why we
It's-
all met. You know?
Correct. But I mean, we have this amazing network of people now. So
We do.
That's great.
As an example, I hate to bring the story up again, but when Mudge gets a stick stuck in the roof of his mouth, I've got 5 friends there to help me extract it
That's amazing.
instead of spending money on anesthesia.
Yeah.
So.
But I can't believe. Yeah, that's it really stinks that pets are at the, on the low at the bottom of the priority list, because pets are like crucial to mental health, especially in New York City, and we really have to do more around that. The laws have to. And again, I'm not a legislator, but animals are
but you
so
can help.
important. They're so important to our quality of life, and it's such an easy fix.
Yes, it
a
is.
silly little dog park. I mean, I bet you could have gotten private sponsorship for that. I mean, yeah.
Listen, the city told me you can't remove that railing. And I said, oh, no, we can. We dug it up just to see. We put it back for you because I know that's your metal.
Oh, my gosh.
I know. I don't want to get caught
Maybe
stealing
you
your
should
scraps.
be in politics. Maybe.
No, thanks.
No?
No, thanks. This is good enough.
Why?
Because I'd rather be funny and sarcastic.
You could be funny and sarcastic as a politician.
You can.
Anything goes these days.
Listen, you first.
Okay.
You just
Alright.
you
I'm always
listen,
the guinea pig.
you listen to my podcast, and I'll move across the border into Brooklyn and vote for you.
Oh.
And then we have a team right there.
Maybe this podcast is just sort of a safety net.
stepping stone?
Yeah, a stepping stone
Stepping
rather.
stone.
Yes.
So it could propel you into politics.
I don't know. I think you would be good.
No, there's too much digging that can happen.
That's okay. You just own it. Whatever they dig up, you own it. Or
Yeah,
you say, I don't know where you got that from.
I do not recall.
Do you see what's happening here, guys? This is what Janine is going to do for Brooklyn, though. I just want to say that. And if Mr. Reynoso would like to speak to me, I'd be happy to speak to him because I want to be fair. And again, we're not a political show.
Well, you should speak to him because that would definitely make it more appropriate.
Exactly.
Even though nobody speaks to me and they all speak to him, but that's okay.
We're giving you that shot right now.
Yeah.
Hoping somebody listens.
Oh, well. No, I'm saying, like, all media
Yeah.
should be appropriate when it comes to things like
Of
this
course.
because they're writing me off just because I'm a Republican and a conservative, and the reality is that I don't know that my ideas are. I might be,
Listen,
but
you have to choose a side, apparently, right? Because we're a
Exactly.
two-party system.
Yeah, it's a two-party
Correct.
system.
And knowing you for so long, not all of your views are very conservative.
No.
But you had to pick something.
correct.
And you're not going to, this is an incumbent. You're not going to. So,
Well, I was actually a Democrat for a very long time.
yes.
Up until pretty recently, actually. I definitely believe that government is inefficient and ineffective, and I don't think we need a bigger government.
Right.
And so that's probably the main reason why I side on the right, you know, because we believe in a smaller government. I think there's a place for it, but it certainly is not to run our lives.
Yeah.
And to dictate everything we do and how we do it, although that's kind of what it feels like.
That's kind of what's
I
happening.
mean, yeah.
Yeah.
And even if the law says we can do something, they find a way to make sure that we cannot.
Right.
By amending things, or I don't know, the government gets very, very creative with doing things that they shouldn't do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to wrap up, I think.
All right.
Janine, thank you for coming by.
You're welcome.
I wish you luck.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Janine Aquafredda. We're going to do that.
Yay.
And I think...
Vote for me November 4th.
Yes.
Very important, very important.
Mister, always a pleasure.
Always, always.
We will talk to you soon, folks. If you have anything to say, any questions for the Brooklyn candidate for borough president, 4th coolest place on earth at gmail.com.
Once again, that's the number 4.
Yeah, the number
CH.
4, not
Yep.
the word. Because I don't trust any of you to pick the right 4 to spell out.
Spelling is
So we'll use just that number character is easier. But I love you all. Mr.
Wow.
loves you all. And we'll see you again really soon for episode 4.
Adios.
Later.